doing a documentary about Michael, and it was Michael's idea to feature this kid in the documentary.
Michael has a deep affection for helping children in need, and this child happened to have a severe case of cancer. Michael immediately wanted to do something to help, to give this child hope and give him a reason to live.
A lot of the people working for Michael Jackson didn't want Michael to do this because they felt that after what happened with Jordy Chandler, people shouldn't be reminded of any association that Michael had with any kids. But Michael had no consciousness of guilt at all.
I saw the original documentary that Mr. Bashir produced. I didn't know Michael Jackson at the time, but something seemed very, very manipulative, very sinister about the way he approached Michael Jackson. And what was proof of that was the naivete Michael displayed in continuing to talk to this man who clearly, in my opinion, was bent on destroying his reputation.
Tonight, 12-year-old Gavin reveals he spends nights at Neverland, sometimes in Jackson's bed, the star on the floor.
Next thing you know, Children Protective Services became involved and different lawyers began asking questions. Tom Sneddon is back in the picture again, and the Arvizo family suddenly have decided that Michael had molested Gavin.
Gavin came to Michael and said, "Michael, could we sleep in your room tonight?" And Michael looked at me and says, "I don't know, I think you better ask your mother." "Oh, we already asked our mother. She says, sure, no problem." I'm like, no, this is something's odd. This is not right. And then as I was about to go tell Gavin that he cannot sleep in Michael's room, Michael says, "Okay, I have a solution for this. You have to sleep in the room with me." The two children slept on the bed, and Michael and I slept on the floor.
An arrest warrant for Mr. Jackson has been issued on multiple counts of child molestation. At this point in time, Mr. Jackson's been given an opportunity to surrender himself to the custody of the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department within a specified period of time.
They were claiming that Michael organized a conspiracy to abduct children, to falsely imprison a family, and to commit criminal extortion. And the other counts had to do with allegations of child molestation.
These were serious allegations, the most ridiculous allegations. Anyone who knows Michael is not a pedophile.
Mr. Jackson has been booked into the county jail. He has since been released. He has posted the bail, and he has been given an arraignment date.
It bothered me because I was wondering how he was feeling and how he was dealing with it. Michael used to always tell me I'd rather slit my own wrist than to hurt a child. And here they are trying to accuse me of the thing that I love best, and that's children. Accuse me of molesting them.
The more I looked at the facts, the more I conversed with him, the more ridiculous these charges appeared. He just did not seem like the kind of person that could ever engage in this kind of behavior. Mr. Sneddon was obsessed with taking down Michael Jackson. My understanding is that in the mid-90s, Mr. Sneddon personally traveled to Australia and Canada, and perhaps other countries I'm not aware of, to find witnesses against Michael Jackson. He also arranged to have a website at the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department where they were looking for any witnesses or evidence against Michael. Finally, in 2004, he got his wish, a criminal trial with Michael Jackson as the defendant.
To see this DA with this wicked smile and grin like he's going to become a national hero for catching Michael Jackson doing something that he never did made me want to just throw up on the television.
Jackson himself, I believe, has said that this was all done to try to ruin his new CD that was coming out, or whatever it is he's doing. Like, the sheriff and I really are into that kind of music, but
there was a real sort of leaning in the press corps that, look, if this is happening again, then he must be guilty. We really didn't know what they had. We just, because it was all sealed and nobody knew what it was.
I personally believe this Janet Arvizo was provoked by someone. Janet Arvizo is a sick woman, but she has a track history of shaking people down.
The more I looked at a history of welfare fraud, the more I looked at their hustling celebrities to try and get money, the more I put this package together, I have to say I was quite surprised that the prosecutors pinned their hopes on these people.
We've been ready to do this for some period of time, and I want to clarify that so that you understand that.
Prosecution was like a train that left the station and was not going to slow down. Once they decided to charge Michael Jackson, it almost appeared as if they were going to do whatever it took to make sure this thing got to trial and that they got a conviction. 70 sheriffs from Santa Barbara County raided Michael Jackson's home. Now, I've seen murder cases, I've seen serial killers have investigations done in their premises with 5 people, with 6 people, with 10 people. Never have I seen this many sheriffs descend on anybody's home in any case. It was all done because of who he was, and they knew this was going to be a worldwide event, and frankly, it was very despicable as far as I'm concerned.
There was a lynch mob mentality in Santa Maria that extended not only to the police and to the district attorney, but maybe to the media as well. And I remember when we were standing in line to get our press credentials, one of the reporters, a woman who was a very popular reporter in America, pulled herself out of the line, and she said, "Is there anybody standing in this line besides J. Randy Taraborelli who does not believe that Michael Jackson is guilty?"
And there was the issue of race. When he got in big trouble, he reached out to black leaders to try and defend him. He reached out to Reverend Jesse Jackson, to Reverend Al Sharpton, and others. I wanted to avoid any racial division. There was a phone call one night. It was Michael Jackson and his publicist. She wanted to bring black celebrities into the courtroom. She felt this would be better for his legacy. And my comment about this request was that, if he's convicted, his legacy is going to be dying in California State Prison.
And I flew out at the request of Katherine to go to the arraignment. When we all drove up together, and went through that. Of course, then you got on the roof. Which, when they got in the car, I said, "Will you stop that already? This is serious stuff here."
He went in there, he was strong, he was fighting, he's not going to let anything get to him. He was jumping on the bus, really proud, you know what, showing his fans, we're going to get through this, we're going to fight, everything's going to be fine.
When we first started, Michael came in and he looked really robust and healthy. He was sharp and focused and determined to prove his innocence.
Even after the first day, you knew that these people were only after money, and this was the biggest hoax in the world that they were trying to pull.
They put witnesses on the stand to testify under oath to things that never happened, to things that were completely exaggerated and untrue. They were willing to almost throw anything at the jury, hoping something would stick.
Time for a diminutive mother of 4, Janet Arvizo, to take center stage. Her evidence could end the career of a pop legend.
Well, what had upset me is they were reporting everything that was said about Michael, but they wasn't reporting anything in his defense.
It looked like a feeding frenzy to me. The media were just out to see the world's greatest known celebrity fall to destruction. That's where they thought their ratings in the future would come from, and for me it was really a disgrace.
During the trial, Dionne Diamond was the worst person in the world.
Nice to meet you. Your hands are very cold. I didn't say what you thought I said. Did you give a measurement?
I don't understand how these people can run out and lie. They don't even get a chance to find out the truth.
Tom Mesereau will get there and show and clean it up and show that this is not true. This is really how it went, but they wouldn't report that. And that went on for months.
When we finally got to see what was being alleged, it just seemed so ridiculous and so far-fetched. that I remember one reporter from CNN came over to me after the day that the mother testified, Janet Arvizo, and he said, "I feel so used."
Mrs. Arvizo claimed that she feared Michael Jackson so much that she thought he and his henchmen were going to put she and her family in a hot air balloon and let them sail away to their demise. That was one of probably 500 crazy things that came out of this trial that the Arvizo family were alleging.
Sitting in court, listening to all these people lie, people he's been good to, and all of that, he said he couldn't believe that they were telling all these lies on him. These people must have been paid off to do a lot of this stuff.
I warned him about this family. I warned him about that mother. That mother, I read from a mile away. She had an agenda from day one.
There was a so-called rebuttal video that was played, a video that the Arvizo family made after the allegations had surfaced, in which they claimed that Michael was, had been a father figure to this family. And they were really adamant about it on this video. And this video existed. And you would have thought that just the fact that this video existed would have been enough for the district attorney to not want to prosecute this case, because eventually we would have to see this video. And all of us would then have to look at this and think, what the heck is going on here? Which is exactly what happened.
The focus instead was on the defense's first celebrity witness, the actor Macaulay Culkin. The prosecution had suggested that in the early 1990s, he was one of a number of young boys who had been sexually abused by Jackson.
I have to say, Chris Tucker and Macaulay Culkin will always go down in my book as loyal, good friends. They had managers and agents and lawyers who didn't want them to get involved, and they both told me that when Michael needs us, we're going to be there. There were other witnesses, people he knew at Neverland who came in to tell the truth. We had a lot of people that rose to his defense.
I stood by him because he was a decent, good man with a warm heart, a loving heart.
The family were extremely supportive of Michael Jackson throughout this trial. His mother never missed one day. The trial lasted almost 5 months. She never missed a day.
I knew what Michael was going through, and my heart just bled for him all the time.
Family was there, and there was this sort of sense that it was going to be okay. I remember they showed the Martin Bashir documentary, and Michael's music was playing throughout it. And I remember looking around the courtroom and seeing all these heads bobbing up and down to Michael's music, and I thought to myself, wow, this is going to be some crazy molestation trial, because everybody here is sort of rocking out to Billie Jean. It just seemed very surreal to me.
Prosecution, in my